Alberta, and welcome to Program Pride. My name is Todd Janes, and this is our May show. Thanks for joining us. On the show this time, we have a whole bunch of different things. We have an episode on cultural diversity with Sanhita, Brahmacharie, and Wong. We also have a whole bunch of things coming about Pride Week, which will be next month. So make sure you start taping the show because they may scroll a little bit faster. You can actually write with lipstick or something. As well, Lenore is here with a commentary, and we have fun, excitement, and things happening in a jam-packed half hour of queer content. Speaking about queer content, many of you probably watched the April 30th edition of Ellen, where Ellen DeGeneres' character, Ellen Morgan, came out. And prior to that show, many of you will be aware that Ellen DeGeneres herself also came out as a lesbian. So we'd like to salute Ellen DeGeneres for coming out, and we hope that all of you out there come out too when you're ready, and you feel safe about that. As well, there are some things that have fallen out from the Ellen show. I mean, first of all, it's a great opportunity because it's the first time in network television history that the main character of a sitcom or a drama has come out. So we think that's a brave step forward. As well, not everyone thought that way. Chrysler has pulled sponsorship from the Ellen show, and we have a couple things to share with you too. If you are concerned about that and you would like to convey your concern or your disappointment at Chrysler for pulling their sponsorship of Ellen, you can contact them. Ron G. Woods is the contact person for Campaign for Equal Rights at Chrysler. And there's an email address for him, Mitch, capital M-I-T-C-H, capital R-O-O-K, at AOL.com, and that'll be coming up on the screen. As well, you can call them at 810-545-7699. Now, some other things that we found out about Chrysler include the fact that in Canada, they have refused the demand of the Canadian Auto Workers, or CWA, to add domestic partnership benefits to the contract for gays and lesbians. And in October 23rd, CWA President Buzz Hargrove stated that in the Los Angeles Times that this was another action of the, quote, macho Chrysler. Executives are still not ready to accept spousal benefits for same-sex couples in Chrysler, even though General Motors has done that. In other news about the sponsorship for Ellen, Olympia Cruise Lines, which is that wonderful cruise company for lesbians, wanted to become a sponsor for the Ellen show, for Ellen coming out, and they were refused that right by the ABC network. Olivia Cruise Lines. I guess we'll edit that. So anyway, it's been an exciting time. Every time we get to watch this, we see further and further that gays, lesbians, bisexuals, and transgendered people are making movements and making improvements in areas that we never have before. And hopefully, sooner or later, it won't even be an issue. And speaking about issues, especially those of cultural diversity, appropriation, and representation, let's go to our next segment with Sanhita, Brahmacharie, and Wong of Dykes of Color from Calgary, where they have a discussion on cultural diversity.
My guests are Wong and Sanhita Brahmacharie. Did I get that right?
You're perfect.
Today we're talking about cultural diversity, and you two are part of a group called Dykes of Color, or DOCS.
That's right.
Can you tell us about that?
Sure. The Dykes of Color is a new group. It started, actually it's not so new, we're hitting our 1-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yes, it started last year on Pride, and we really felt that there was a need for women of color to be able to connect and create community. And so the purpose of the group was to create a space where that could happen.
And so you meet, you have meetings once a month, or?
Yeah, we have meetings once a month. We have a lot of social events. it's a safe place, right? It is a safe for women to come out and hang out and stuff, get to know everybody. But yeah, we do have quite a few social events because our goal was complete social.
Right.
Just to meet other women and going out for coffee, going out for dinner, and which we've done. But now it seems like we're kind of changing a little bit. We're getting a little bit more active.
That's right, and I mean that's the process, isn't it? There's a certain comfort level with yourself, and I think it leads to more action. In terms of the DOT group, we've co-sponsored a number of events as well as done sort of the fun social stuff. We sponsored a video artist from Toronto named Gitanjali, who was down here in September, and she did a series of workshops called Lesbian Flirtation Techniques, and they were a lot of fun.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
We all learned to flirt. Some of us didn't know before that.
3 hours of flirting. 3 hours of flirting with 30 women in the room.
It was fun. And we also co-sponsored a night for her land, the lesbian celebration night.
Mm-hmm.
Cam was very involved with that. She did a lot of work.
Yeah, I enjoyed working with that actually, with her land. It was great.
Good.
And we're planning some more events in the future.
Right.
So,
So what started out as just a social get-together, as you get to know each other and talk about issues, you start to be more active and do more things.
Yeah.
Right.
But you really felt there was a need for this.
Yeah, I guess I guess I'm the founder, so I get to take that founder role. Although Cam is first member, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad actually DOC is existing because I think it helped me to grow a little bit.
Sure.
So I'm glad that it was actually here.
Sure. Well, in terms of the reasons that I put it together, yeah, I felt there was a need. I felt that the lesbian community needed some help, I guess, in terms of recognizing diversity within the community. I'd been out for a number of years, and 8 years, and I really felt like sometimes there wasn't a lot of space to be different. You know, we have, I think, this idea in our heads of what a dyke looks like. I'm not it, I know it. I always say I'm a femme. I'm a dyke, I'm a femme dyke. So anyway, we have this idea of what a dyke looks like, and we have this, and the idea isn't just that it's androgynous, it isn't just that it's more butch, it's also that it's a white picture that we have in our heads, and me included, because I grew up in Alberta, right? So I also had this picture in my head, or had, hopefully I'm eradicating that, of what is a lesbian, and it's essentially a white woman who looks a certain way. So what that means in terms of women of color when we try and get involved in things sometimes is that it's not an intentional exclusion, but there's just the assumption, and it's heterosexism, right? We assume that that people are heterosexual unless proven otherwise, and we assume that people who look different because they're women of color, because they're femmes, because they dress differently, whatever, are not lesbians. So I really felt like that education needed to happen.
Sure, I see it as being just reflecting back to the community the diversity that is there, and that's basically what you're doing. Yeah. How about within your own cultures, the acceptance of homosexuality?
Sure. I think Cam had a great story, huh? You want to tell your story?
Well, actually, because when I came out to my parents didn't know that it actually existed in the Chinese community. I have a lot of friends that are Chinese Oriental, and their family thinks it is a white problem, and it just does not exist. And I don't know if it's my parents are from Hong Kong, so I don't know if they're just ignorant, not seeing it, because I know it's visible, I know it's there, but they just don't acknowledge it. It's like, because it's so normal that there's two women holding hand in hand in the streets. The femmes do it, a lot of women do it. Even at high schools, you'll notice Orientals always holding hands. And I think to them, it's the norm. But going beyond the holding hands and everything, it's just not conceivable to them.
Yes.
So, so they always thought it was a white problem. And my parents thought I was influenced by, living here and having all my friends to be really different anyways. So, they're all saying that you've been brainwashed into this community.
And I mean, it's really interesting because, I grew up in small town Alberta, right? And in Edmonton as well. It almost counts as a small town half. No. I live in Calgary now, so I can be insulting towards Edmonton.
We are in Edmonton.
I know. But they don't know where I live, right? You will not flash my phone number on the screen. No. No, actually, I love Edmonton. But the point is that I grew up in small towns and also in Edmonton, and I think a lot of people there felt the same way. And this is the white community, but it doesn't happen here. I think that's something we tend to say about gay and lesbian issues, that it's always someone else's backyard.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's not.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
So, well, Docs is a great group, and wish you much success. And if people want to get a hold of you, they can give you a call. And
they certainly can.
Yeah. How many in your group now?
We've got about 25 to 30 people. They don't all come to organizational meetings.
No, only the dedicated people.
The dedicated people. Like us. You get a good shot of them. But
for the social things, the more the merrier.
They're all there.
And actually, that was our intention. We know that women don't all have the same amount of time, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great talking to you.
Well, thank you.
And we will see you around.
Definitely. Yeah,
sure. Absolutely.
Thanks.
And we'd like to welcome Outlooks Magazine, Alberta's new gay, lesbian, bisexual publication. Check it out at your local town and newsstand. It's free. As well, speaking of media, we have a segment coming up next from Rogers Cable. It's Cable 10%, which is a show that's produced out of Toronto. It's a gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered show. And the segment we're going to show you is where they went to see Pink Triangle Press, where they just celebrated their 25th anniversary and they threw a big bash. Pink Triangle Press produces the Canadian Mail and Extra West, Capital Extra, and Extra magazine. So, and then after that, please stay tuned for a commentary from Lenore.
Since 1971, the Pink Triangle Press has grown to be the largest queer publisher in the world. Starting out with the Body Politic, Extra's predecessor, PTP fought many important censorship battles and broke a lot of ground to make way for other queer and trendy publications, like The Advocate and Out magazines. 25 years later, Cable 10% takes a look at where they've been, where they are, and where they're going.
Well, where were you 25 years ago tonight? You might possibly have been at home reading The Body Politic, which published its first issue in October 1971. Well, tonight, Pink Triangle Press, which published The Body Politic, as well as Extra West, Capital Extra, what we know in Toronto as Extra Magazine, is celebrating its quarter anniversary with a 70s party here at the Masonic Temple. How difficult was it to sell the gay community on The Body Politic?
Well, it varied. I mean, there were people who were desperately eager to get it and were thrilled to get it, and then there were other people who were horrified by it. And it was interesting because I used to sell it on the street sometimes and stand.
There was a cost involved. It was for sale.
Yeah, 25 whole cents. You had to pay to get this thing, and some people would brush by you and just say gross. I don't know what I'm talking about, me or the BP, actually, now that I think about it.
What's some of the reaction of organizers, businesses that you approached for sponsorship, for advertising? How do they feel about advertising the gay community?
It's been a long haul. I actually brought in the first large corporate clients. I brought in HMV, Radio Shack, Molson's. I came from IBM, and it was my goal to go. I couldn't understand why we weren't getting representation into the gay scene of corporate business, and I know that the way the gay scene is going to get acceptance politically is when money talks. A lot of companies are test market in Toronto, and then it starts to expand in Ottawa and into Vancouver. It's a growth area that we're starting to build on, but the papers in Vancouver and Ottawa are in infancy.
project that represents, or the press has been pursuing, was essentially a labor of love of the gay men and lesbians of one generation. And happily, I feel that we have been able to pass that project, vital and still growing, into the hands of an entirely new generation.
What I really love about working at Extra is that my clients at Extra automatically assume that I'm queer as opposed to straight, which would, of course, you know, normally be the way things go. That's not, of course, that's not the only thing I like about working at Extra, but you know, all the cute people, cute women, cute boss, all these things are very, very beneficial.
Job security.
Yeah, job security.
It's a not-for-profit organization, so there's some reward in that.
Absolutely, exactly, and I can feel that I'm keeping it alive, and also, you know, sort of maintaining the or improving an image of the paper, and that's wonderful.
I write the Cocktail Confessions column.
What is that? People, of course, everyone would know. I don't know, though. I don't read Extra.
Well, it's a column about the club scene, kind of the gossip scene, social column, basically. I do a lot of openings, very broad-based column.
What's happening in the club scene in Toronto right now, the gay club scene?
Well, it's kind of dying lately, actually. A lot of clubs have closed down, but actually there's a few new ones opening up, so we'll see what happens. But
exclusively gay clubs, or these are like gay nights at straight clubs?
Both.
What do you think about gay nights at straight clubs?
Well, it depends on the promoter. I think they can really work. I mean, you look at Grand Phoenix. I mean, that's the best night going right now, and that's a straight club, and it's a gay night on Thursdays, and it's doing really, really well. It's a lot of fun.
And when you go out reporting in the field, is this how you dress?
Sometimes. It depends on the event.
Are there any relationships, any marriages that come out of Extra?
Not ones that we're allowed to speak of, I don't think.
People who are otherwise uninvolved.
Yeah.
Who did this for you?
I was madly crocheting all afternoon, and it was supposed to be full length, but I didn't.
You did both?
He did both.
Yeah.
He's a wonder with pom-poms, actually. David is.
Any interest in going into a televised format?
Possibly. I mean, it's actually been a back burner project for several years to get a television show going, but it hasn't really gone anywhere.
No.
But
that's why we're on Cable 10%. Right here, we're taking over Cable 10%.
Thanks very much.
We own you now. Didn't anyone tell you?
What are some of the challenges of putting out a paper in Ottawa?
I think for Ottawa, we started out in a very different community.
Conservative community.
It's a more conservative community than, let's say, Toronto, but it's still not too bad for the size. The one noticeable difference from the other communities here is that Ottawa has never had a very solid alternative press, gay or otherwise. We came out in a city that traditionally the alternative press, in terms of weekly arts and entertainment magazines, they would last a year.
Well, do you cover what's happening on the Hill at all?
We do. We actually have a monthly column called Q Period, which offers Q Period, which offers on a monthly basis just a bit of an overview of the significant things that are talked about on the Hill. It's not an analysis column as such. It's more sort of documenting and information. And then obviously there are a number of federal stories. The Extra papers, part of their success has been to realize that local is their focus. But in Ottawa, because the federal government has such a predominant factor within the city, federal stories in that city still remain local stories because we have such a large population that is actually connected to or working with the federal government.
What are some of the challenges of putting out Extra West in Vancouver?
Well, we've got a very diverse community in Vancouver that's located in two different pockets within the city.
What's the burning issue in Vancouver's gay community?
Right now it's straights in the gay bars, whether they're getting too raunchy and whether it's an insult for straight people to come to queer bars and do some dirty dancing.
Well, they've had the dirty dancing thing here as well, but they had all the back rooms here which they shut down recently. But this is an issue of, to allow straight people into gay bars? Is that what's happening there?
Yeah,
gay bars that fun in Vancouver?
Well, we have no back rooms, and in fact, there doesn't seem to be any demand for them at all, unfortunately. But what we do have is a lot of bars that are mixed, a lot of straights that like to come and dance in our bars, and a few people are not happy about it when they get really raunchy on the dance floor.
As gays and lesbians, the homophobic culture that we live in serves to rob us of our self-esteem and oppress us with hatred. One of the best things that we can do to counteract this is to celebrate and participate in Gay Pride. Gay Pride Week allows us to be out and proud and be with members of our own community. It allows us to celebrate who we are, to recognize how courageous and strong we are. As a lesbian, it allows me to recognize that being a lesbian is a gift. And it offers me a place of belonging. It also allows us to mark the advancements that we have made as a community and to also recognize how much work still needs to be done and to recommit to doing that work. A number of years ago, Debbie and I, my partner, were in San Francisco for the Gay Pride March there. There were 3 million gays and lesbians, and it was absolutely awesome. It was powerful and celebratory, and it was great. And regardless of the size of your community, the feeling will be the same, to come together and to see one another and to be visible. I welcome each of you to participate in Gay Pride in your community. And I also welcome the straight people in our lives who support us to be there marching with us or cheering us on. There's an opportunity for us as gays and lesbians to mentor one another during this process as well. During Gay Pride Week, there might be closeted gays and lesbians, new gays and lesbians, and this will give them an opportunity to see us, to see that we're here and that we're proud of who we are. And it allows us as gays and lesbians the opportunity to bring some of these new people to the events. You know, it's necessary that we be out there and we be visible. It's necessary to show the community at large and the politicians generally that we're not going to go back into the closet and that we're not going to believe the lies that have been told about us and that we're not ashamed of who we are, especially now during the next 4 years with this Tory government who refuse to protect our basic rights, and not only refuse to protect them, but who actively work against them. It's crucial more now than ever that we're out and proud and loud and that we love who we are. So see you at the Gay Pride March.
And June is a really exciting month because it's Pride Week, or maybe Pride Month. But before that, on May 31st, please look for Calgary Cares, which is the big Calgary AIDS Society fundraiser. Remember last year RuPaul came out and you know, sashayed, chanted around Calgary. We're not sure who the celebrities will be this year, but stay tuned on your local listings. We should also let you know that we taped this episode a long time before June, and some of the events may have changed a little, so please contact your local gay lesbian community center or gay lines to find out exactly what's happening for Pride Week, and hey, even how you can get involved and help out to make this year's Pride Week even better than before. We should let you know that there is something happening in Red Deer, and there's probably something happening in Lethbridge as well, but please check that out. We do have events listings for both Edmonton and Calgary. And some of the events that are happening in Calgary: June 14th, the Rocky Mountain Singers are having a concert. June 15th, there's a Pride Run and Walk with Alpine Front Runners. As well, there's the second annual Pride Brunch. The following week on June 21st, help celebrate Gay Pride Day with a 1997 dance at the Miwata Armories. On June 22nd, it's the 8th annual Pride Rally and Parade from McDougall Centre to Victoria Park. Calgary gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered community. There's a resource fair at Victoria Park immediately following the parade. Check that out. There's probably a lot of information, and hey, if it's like other trade fairs, you might be able to take a bag of goodies away with you, or hey, you might get a goodie. In Edmonton, there's a few things happening. They also do have an internet web page. Please check that out. Search for it under Edmonton, under Gay and Lesbian Community Center. As well, some of the events that are happening on June 21st, there's a Women's Space Dance co-hosted with Glicky, the Gay and Lesbian Community Center of Edmonton. It starts at 8 p.m. at Hazel Dean Community Hall. On June 22nd, there's a Pride Festival Day in McIntyre Park, better known to most people as Gazebo Park in Old Strathcona. There's a parade that's going to assemble there, and PFLAG will be holding their annual picnic after the parade somewhere around town. As well, the following weekend, June 28th, Edmonton Vocal Minority presents their Voices of Pride concert at Convocation Hall at 8 p.m. As we said, make sure you check out those Pride events that are happening around town in your areas. Contact Gay Lines or your local Gay and Lesbian Community Center to find out more. Also find out if they need help. They always need people for the parades and for the rallies and for the dances, and it's a great way to become involved and to find out more about the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered community in your area. Because Pride Week is not only a really important time of the year for you to be able to celebrate and enjoy the fact of you being gay, lesbian, or bisexual, transgender, and celebrate the incredible power that happens in the community when all of you gather together and show power that way. It's also a great marketing vehicle for the communities at large to get a true picture of the gay and lesbian community. Because so often we are pictured as something else by the media and right wing. So please get involved and enjoy your Pride Week, and remember to have fun, and we'll see you next time here on Program Pride.